Well, I haven't seen the measures in the Congress, and you'd have to make a determination of what the language was and what the effect it would have on the First Amendment. The Supreme Court has made a judgment. A good many people obviously will disagree with it. Others will agree with it. But I think that it is important for us, if we're going to maintain our constitutional principle, that we support Supreme Court decisions even when we may not agree with them. In addition, we have in this case a very easy remedy, and that is to pray ourselves. And I would think that it would be a welcome reminder to every American family that we can pray a good deal more at home, we can attend our churches with a good deal more fidelity, and we can make the true meaning of prayer much more important in the lives of all of our children. That power is very much open to us. And I would hope that as a result of this decision that all American parents will intensify their efforts at home.
Pay attention, America. They vowed to bring prayer back to schools. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's stirring up hearts across the country: prayer in schools. Yes, the idea of bringing back prayer into our public classrooms is making headlines again. For decades, many of us have prayed for this moment.
Trump pledges to bring back prayer in schools and offer school choice everywhere, returning prayer to public schools and promoting school choice.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood, who doesn't love his song God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our Founding Father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this God Bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, and I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in our country. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong. In the end, we do not answer to bureaucrats in Washington. We answer to God in heaven. Christians are under siege. We must protect content that is pro-God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro-God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left-wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation. Our founding fathers did a tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo-Christian values. Now that foundation is under attack, perhaps as never before. What can we do? Stand up, speak out, and pray that God will bless America again. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again. Pray, get educated, get motivated, and stand with me and the legions of Americans asking God to bless our great nation, to bring our great nation back, and to make America great again. I'm proud to partner with Lee in this offering. He's a very special man, both as a talent, but maybe even more so as a human being. He's very, very special. And I think you all should get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others. There you have it. Let's make America pray again. God bless you, and God bless the USA.
The New American Bible is an English translation of the Bible first published in 1970. The 1986 Revised NAB is the basis of the Revised Lectionary. In the Catholic Church, it is the only translation approved for use during Mass in the United States. The 1970 NAB is also approved for use in the Episcopal Church in the United States. Stemming originally from the Confraternity Bible, a translation of the Vulgate by the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine, the project transitioned to translating the original biblical languages in response to Pope Pius XII's 1943 encyclical Divino Afflantes Spiritu. The translation was sponsored by the U.S. Bishops' Committee on the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine and carried out in stages by members of the Catholic Biblical Association of America from the original languages, with critical use of all the ancient sources, as the title pages state. These efforts eventually became the New American Bible under the liturgical principles and reforms of the Second Vatican Council, 1962-1965. First edition, NAB. The first edition of the New American Bible was published on September 30, 1970. Prior to its full publication, several portions of the New American Bible were released. For example, a translation of the Book of Genesis was published in 1952. It was compiled by 51 scholars from 1944 to 1970, overseen by an editorial board headed by Father Stephen J. Hut again. It was translated from Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic, rather than from the Latin Vulgate, as previous Catholic translations of the Bible into English had been. It also incorporated the newly discovered documents, such as the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Masada manuscript. Second edition, RNAB. A revised edition of the New Testament translation of the New American Bible was published in 1986. Third edition, RNAB. A revised version of the Psalms was published in 1991. Fourth edition, NABE, New American Bible Revised Edition. In 1994, work began on a revision of the Old Testament. In September 2008, the ad hoc committee accepted the final book of the Old Testament, namely Jeremiah. In November of that year, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops approved the complete Old Testament, including footnotes and introductions, but it would not permit it to be published with the Book of Psalms of 1991. It accepted the revised Grail Psalter, Haec Pistorians, instead, which the Holy See approved and which replaced the revised NAB Psalter for lectionaries for Mass in the United States. 1213. The Psalms were again revised in 2008 and sent to the Bishops' Committee on Divine Worship, but also rejected in favour of the revised Grail Psalter. A final revision of the NAB Psalter was undertaken using suggestions that the ad hoc committee vetted, and to more strictly conform to Liturgiam Authenticam. In January 2011, it was announced that the fourth edition of the NAB would be published on March 9 of that year. Future editions of the NAB. In 2012, the USCCB announced a plan to revise the New Testament of the New American Bible Revised Edition, so a single version can be used for individual prayer, catechesis, and liturgy. The revision is now underway, and after the necessary approvals from the bishops and the Holy See, is expected to be completed by 2025. Nationwide are 2 of 10 priorities to rebuild America's education system, announced by President-elect Donald Trump in a video on November 10. Trump's 10-point plan echoes the ideals of Project 2025, which Trump disavowed during the election, and fulfills a conservative wish list that includes dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. Ironically, Trump and his supporters have complained for years that the federal government is mandating unnecessary rules and regulations for public schools, yet his 10-point plan would mandate other rules and regulations, although most will not be easily done and will face stiff legal challenges. and how these new regulations would be promulgated without a Department of Education is not clear. Prayer in schools. Bringing back prayer to our schools is fifth on Trump's list. State-sanctioned prayers in public schools were ruled unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1962 in Engel versus Vitale. Before then, especially across the American South, many teachers and principals led morning prayers from a Christian tradition, without regard to the religious beliefs of students in the classrooms. The First Amendment states that government may not favor one religious practice over another. The Supreme Court thus ruled that these school prayers established Christianity while excluding other religions and even excluding some forms of Christianity. However, ever since that Supreme Court ruling, conservative evangelicals have sought to reinstate state-sanctioned prayer in public schools, claiming its absence has led to moral rot among students and culture. Mandating or even allowing state-sponsored prayer in public schools would require upending a Supreme Court precedent, something highly unusual until the High Court 2 years ago reversed Roe v. Wade, fulfilling another objective of conservative evangelicals. So it is possible, but would take a long and winding course of litigation that would end up again at the Supreme Court 62 years later. School vouchers. Another gift Trump says he will give conservative evangelicals is universal school vouchers, although he didn't use that language that is very unpopular in polling. We will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want, he said. It's called school choice. School choice typically is code language for vouchers, which allow parents to divert public funds from public schools to help pay tuition at private schools, including religious schools. Until the current batch of conservative justices gained a majority on the Supreme Court, most efforts to divert public funds to private religious schools were rebuffed in the courts. Today, 24 states now have some form of voucher program, but voters in 3 states last week rejected voucher measures. In Texas, one of the 2 states with the largest numbers of public school students, multiple attempts to pass voucher bills have failed over a number of years. Even though Texas is a deeply Republican state, legislators from rural districts have shunned vouchers out of fear they would harm their communities, where public schools are the center of life. However, Gov. Greg Abbott, empowered by 2 billionaire donors, has successfully blackballed Republican legislators, who denied his demands and in the next session likely will have a subservient majority to enact his will. How a national requirement for school vouchers or any kind of school choice would be enacted also is not clear, and any such effort, whether by executive order or congressional act, would no doubt be tangled up in the courts for years. In his brief video, Trump introduces what he calls 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. We will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. We will empower parents and local school boards to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the ones whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired, like on The Apprentice. You're fired. We will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed: reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. We will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. We will support bringing back prayer to our schools. We will achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. We will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. We will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. We will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. We will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs and careers best suited to their God-given talents.